This panorama shows Martian terrain and an outcrop in the middle distance where a pale rock unit meets a darker rock unit above it. The outcrop exposing the contact is in the eastern portion of the area called Logan Pass. This image shows part of Cerberus fossae, a long system of extensional faults arranged in trough-bounding pairs. Cerberus fossae served as the source of a large volcanic eruption that draped Athabasca valleys and outflow channel system on Mars in lava. Large boulders that have been dislodged from the graben walls are visible on the floor of Cerberus fossae. The boulders have left distinct tracks as they moved downhill. Although the tracks are quite clear, ripples inside the tracks are discernible, indicating that enough time has passed for wind activity to rework loose material into the form of ripples. With close examination of this observation, we can see many boulder tracks, some with ripples and some without ripples. Wind streaks emanating from impact craters are visible on the plains surrounding Cerberus fossae. Material on the crater floor, blue in the color image, is being moved by the wind out of the crater and across the plains. The wind streaks in this observation indicate that the predominant wind direction in this region is from east to west. The location seen here was selected for the first rock drilling by NASA's Curiosity Mars rover on Mars. Veins interpreted as evidence of a wet past are common in the flat-lying rocks of the area. This amazing video shows Perseverance rover using its auto navigation technology to guide it during its drive to a delta. AutoNav allows the rover to autonomously replan its route around rocks or other obstacles on its way to a pre-established destination. The video was taken by the rover's navigation cameras. This panorama shows Endurance Crater and the surrounding plains of Meridiani Planum. Rocks at the crater have shown that liquid water had flowed multiple times across the surface, with floods periodically washing over the landscape and then drying up again. Interpretation of the materials such as sulfates and Endurance's evaporite outcrops have led scientists to believe that this shallow sea was probably rather acidic in nature, but couldn't rule out that life may have been present at some point. This is an iron meteorite which is about 2 meters wide from left to right. The smaller piece in the foreground is also an iron meteorite. You can also see angular shaped cavities on the surface of the meteorite. One possible explanation for this is that they resulted from preferential erosion along crystalline boundaries within the metal of the meteorite. Another possibility is that these cavities once contained olivine crystals which can be found in a rare type of stony iron meteorites called pallasites, thought to have been formed near the core mantle boundary within an asteroid. Iron meteorites are not rare among meteorites found on Earth, but they are less common than stony meteorites. On Mars, iron meteorites dominate the small number of meteorites that have been found. Part of the explanation could come from the resistance of iron meteorites to erosion processes on Mars. This surface close-up shows the undisturbed surface of a Martian sand dune which shows coarse grains remaining on the surface after wind removal of smaller particles. The image covers an area 1.4 inches across. This amazing scene looks toward the higher regions of Mount Sharp. In the foreground, about 2 miles away, is a long ridge teeming with hematite and iron oxide. Just beyond is an undulating plain rich in clay minerals. And just beyond that are multitude of rounded buttes, all high in sulfate minerals. The changing mineralogy in these layers of Mount Sharp suggests a changing environment in early Mars, though all involve exposure to water billions of years ago. Further back in the image are striking light-toned cliffs in rock that may have formed in drier times and now is heavily eroded by winds. This strange rock is located at the edge of a young crater called Conception. Mars rover used the tools on its robotic arm to examine the texture and composition of target areas on the rock with and without the dark coating. Initial analysis was inconclusive about whether the coating on the rock is material that melted during the impact event that dug the crater. This 360-degree clip was taken by NASA's Perseverance rover, which looks in all directions from a location called Airy Hill. The rippled surface of a high Martian sand dune fills this view. This site is part of the Bagnold Dunes field along the northwestern flank of Mount Sharp. The dunes are active and migrate up to about 1 yard or a meter per year. This stunning image shows one of the clearest views deep inside a crater on Mars. The image was taken by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and shows a rippling, rugged crater which is located in the Meridiani Planum region on the red planet. What you're looking at are permanent polar caps of Mars encircled by sand dunes that look like pulled threads. These dunes march across a fabric of patterned ground as at this time of the Martian year the dunes are free of seasonal dry ice that forms a temporary cover every winter. This panorama is the view from the top of the Cape Tribulation segment of the rim of Endeavour crater. Endeavour spans about 14 miles in diameter with its interior and rim laid out in this 245-degree panorama centered toward east-northeast. Tracks left by Mars rover during its approach to the site appear on the left. The far horizon in the right half of the scene includes portions of the rim of a crater farther south called Yazoo crater.